Duncan with silkoversteel.com. I equip women to build spirit-filled businesses they love and to lead with kingdom purpose. So I'm starting a new series called Tech Thursdays, where I want to be able to provide you some tech training to get your business up and going, especially with anything that you want to do online, and if you have an offline business, showing you a lot of the technical details in the background on how to bring some of your offline things online and have a good hybrid mix of the two. So this first series that I'm doing has to do with WordPress, getting your blog or your website up and going, because that is super, super important to be able to do, especially in an online environment. You need a home where your business will live. So if you think in offline terms, so you have a storefront or a building or some place where you run your business. Well, in the online world, that's what your website is or your blog is. That's where you're going to run your business. And I use the word website and blog interchangeably because they essentially are the same thing. So we're going to get started. Today's video is going to be on how to select the perfect domain name and how to actually buy your domain name and get it registered and all of that good stuff, okay? So first things first, let me tell you this. When you get ready to decide what your domain name is going to be, you really want to brainstorm ideas and just like literally take a sheet of paper like this. It could be a blank sheet of paper, it could be a piece of notebook paper, it could be a piece of notebook paper, whatever, and just brainstorm ideas. You may already have an idea in mind that you want to use, which is perfectly fine, but you want to brainstorm as many ideas as you can and think about different variations. Putting the in the front, adding S to an end of something, adding A to the front of it, and just different types of variations, because what can happen is during your research, you may find that somebody has a name similar to yours, and sometimes, or they may have, may already have that website claimed, and so then what you want to do is you want to maybe have a variation of it. However, with some caution, I'm going to talk about that later. So a couple of things to remember. You want your website name to be easy to remember, like easy, not something complicated. You want it to be easy to spell. Again, not a complicated spelling that's really hard, because then somebody could end up landing on somebody else's website that's not yours, or they could not find you online. And so we don't want that to happen. And number 3, easy to relate. So in other words, your niche or your audience can easily relate to your website name. So mine is Silk Over Steel. It's easy to remember, it's easy to spell, and it relates to my audience very well because it's about women, silk, building businesses and being very, very feminine, and at the same time having a lot of strength in their building of a business, and their growing of a business, and their growing and building in their leadership. So it's very relatable. The other thing that you want to consider too is the extensions. So like .com or .net or .org, and they have a whole bunch of other dots. As much as possible, try to steer away from the other ones. .com and .net are the preferable ones. .org, technically, like back in the day, .com was supposed to be for like regular businesses. .org was supposed to be for nonprofit organizations. .net were usually used for like tech agencies, and then they started branching out. There's like .info and .this, .that. Try to stick as much as possible to .com if you can. That's the preferred way to go. The other thing to think about with your domain name is that you don't want to have yourself boxed in into your niche to where if you ever decide that you want to branch out or brand in a different way, you can't. So, for example, my website name is not Women Building Businesses or Women in Leadership or Christian Women in Leadership or anything like that, because I want to be able to talk about, yes, building a leader or building a business, growing in your leadership, but I also talk about things related to family. I also talk about things related to self-care. And if at any point in time I decided I wanted to kind of branch or add another little, sub niche, I could do so very easily. So you don't want to have yourself boxed in with your domain name either. You want to leave some flexibility there. Okay, so let's get into the research part. Couple places where you want to research. Once you get your domain ID, I'm going to say this, the very first place you want to go to research is to the U.S. Trademark Office. So U.S. Trademark Office. And that website is USPTO, and you want to search the trademark database. And you'll just go right here. Click on this first one, Basic Mark Search. And then you're going to put in your proposed website name. Here's why. You do not want to create a website for a business that already exists and has been trademarked or is going through the trademark process through the government. I have known several people. There's actually someone that I'm close with in one of my masterminds who had to completely rebrand her site and to a certain extent give up her website name that she's had for a couple of years because someone else had a very similar name and they had already trademarked their name and they were actively using it in business. So you want to make sure that the name that you're thinking about for your website, number one, hasn't been used by anyone else, and number two, has not been trademarked. So I always say go to the trademark website first. So for example, if I were to look up silk over steel, put that in. You want to leave the settings as is, combined word mark and those letters there, and all search terms. Okay, and then all you're going to do is right here hit submit query. And as you can see, there are no records for mine. There could be records for yours. For example, one point in time, I thought about confidence. Like confidence, but confidence. Oh, there's nothing, no. Confidence. I didn't spell that right because I know there's some out there because I looked them up. And you will see that there are confidence. There are several people who already are using that. And so you can click here and it will show you specifically how someone is using it, what their company name is, and all of that good stuff. So if someone already has the trademark, it's just best to steer away from it and don't try to finagle your way and use it anyways, because you don't want to get shut down or get this cease and desist notice in the mail. And they will send it. They will find you and they will send it to you. So that's something that you want to be cautious about. Okay, so then the other place where you want to start researching is you can simply start Googling it online and just see if it's already available. And you'll see, oh, somebody's using it and they have the TM trademark. Like I said before, confidence, part of the Nehemiah project, you'll see somewhere that is a Facebook post. And so you want to start looking, online to see if it's there and see how people are using it currently, if they're using it at all. Of course, mine will be here because I use it. And I will say this, even if something is not trademarked, like for example, my name is not trademarked right now, I still have rights because I have been using this for a long time, like years. I have been using this website, this name, and I've had it for a very long time. So even if somebody were to come later on and get it trademarked, I still could have some legal ground, if you will, to have them cease and desist from using it, even though I haven't trademarked it because I have been using mine longer. I just have to show evidence of that. So don't feel like, oh gosh, now I got to go get my name trademark. As soon as you can and as soon as you have the funds to do so, go ahead and do it. If you have the funds right now to do it, great, go ahead. But you know, I've been using it for a long time, and as you can see, which is why I do the Google research. You can see if anyone's been using it and how long they. You can see I've been using it for a long time, and how long they have been using it. Um, so that's the other place you want to research, and then of course you want to go and see if the domain name is actually available. And a couple other places you can research. You can research Facebook. You can research Pinterest, you can research anywhere on social media, Instagram, and just look to see if anyone's using that name. So what you want to do is I use Host Duplex, and I'll talk more in just a bit about hosting services and all of that stuff. But I use Host Duplex, and what you want to do is you come to Host Duplex's website, click on Services, click on WordPress Hosting. And like I said, we're going to talk about this a bit more. And you want to, hold on, sorry, it's going too fast. I should be able to just click, I was just here. Yeah. Oh, here we are. So you come down where it says plans and order now. I'll talk more about this in a bit, but before you get down to the ordering, it's going to give you a chance to be able to search it. So you want to search and see if it's available. So silkoversteel.com, check availability. And of course, it already exists. So I cannot purchase that one. And so like if I were looking at Godfidence, Godfidence is already taken. So it's already been taken. The one that I'm going to do, and I've actually already purchased it and I've done my research on it, is She Pray Leadership. So it's kind of like Entree Leadership, like Dave Ramsey does Entree Leadership. Well, this is She Pray Leadership. It's focusing on women business leaders. And so check availability. I've already purchased it, so it's not going to be available. But you go in here and you want to see if it's available. Once it's available, you'll go through the whole process of purchasing your domain name, and you'll get an email and it'll say, you know, here's your domain name. It'll give you your cPanel information, which we'll go into in another video on how you can actually get into your the back end of your website and get things up and going. So let me say this, because a lot of people get confused on domain and hosting and all of this. So your domain is just the name. The hosting is where your name lives and who provides basically not so much the internet service, but like the worldwide web, say that 5 times, the World Wide Web service for your domain. It's generally a good idea to just have your domain and your hosting with the same company. It just makes life so much easier. But with Host Duplex, and I'll tell you why I really love them, you can transfer your domain from another registrar, or you can point your current domain over to Host Duplex's services. So here's why I love Host Duplex. It's a number of reasons why. Number one, and my biggest thing with any company that I work with, is customer service and client care. These folks over there are just really, really excellent. If I have a question about something, I send in a ticket, and within moments, I can get answers from them about something, and they will answer all of my questions. Even though I'm very analytical and I understand a lot of tech things, when it comes to website hosting and all of that stuff and websites and all that stuff, that is not my area of expertise. And so there's oftentimes I have questions just about terminology and really understanding what something is, and they will talk to me for however long the ticket needs to be open until I understand. They will get on the phone with you. They will do whatever it is to win you over, and to make sure that you're getting the best service possible. I remember one time I had done something weird. I don't know what I did, but my whole website went down, like it was not there. And they were able to find it for me and pull it back up. They're just wonderful with their customer service. The other thing is they have great speed, and I'm actually going to go back and show you what they offer. And again, I am not super techie, with this stuff, but their speed is like they have taken things up to a whole nother notch. You're going to get incredible speed with them. Um, you will also get, if you go with this plan, you will get your setup time is like instant, so you'll get an email instantly with all of your information. It is on a shared space. You get about 8 gigs. You get 25 gigs of bandwidth. This is all this technical jargon that you can read through on your own. They have some really incredible features to protect your site. I've never had my site hacked, knock on wood. I've never had issues with my site being hacked or anything. Like, they go through like layers on top of layers and measures on top of measures to make sure that your site is protected regardless of how big or small you are. They actually do a lot of hosting and a lot of much more security in-depth services for like really large governmental agencies, tech companies, hospitals, things like that. So they, have to keep things layered and have all these extra layers of security. And then they give you some all-in-one packaging. You're not having to go get this and go get this and go get this. The only thing you will have to add on, which I do recommend that you get, is the SSL certificate, which is basically, if you look up here and you see how you have HTTPS, you need that because pretty soon Google is going to start flagging sites that don't have it. So you do need that. I think that service is, what is the extra on that service? It's like $49 or $39 for the year, which is, you break that down, that's like what, less than $5 a month. So you do have to pay upfront for the entire year, but I really recommend that you get that. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to go in here, go through and research, and then buy your domain name. I will have the links below, so that way you can just find the link that you need, specifically as it relates to the host duplex services and the U.S. Trademark Office. Okay, so look, I'll see you in the next video. The next video we're actually going to talk about, I've got all my notes in front of me, installing WordPress on your site. Okay, so we will talk soon. Bye-bye.